What, you thought we were going to go away that easily? Come on, college football is on our television screens. And you know who's not going away anytime soon? Diego Pavia, the Vanderbilt Commodores, because they're living up to expectations. Another win on the road at Kroger Field against the Kentucky Wildcats. Welcome back on into the SEC Unfiltered postgame show. He's Dave Shumate. I'm Cole Thompson, breaking down everything that we saw as the doors of Nashville currently are sitting at 4-2 with their best still ahead after getting the 20-13 win over the Wildcats in Lexington. Real quickly, make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below. It takes 2 seconds. And also hit that ring notification because we do live shows, instant reactions, Sunday Fun Day, Dave Talks Ball, the Monday Power Hour, countless other episodes. So to stay up to date, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the ring notification. Download the podcast version of the show wherever you get your podcast listening systems. Follow us on all the social channels, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at SEC Unfiltered. If you want to go follow Dave, it's at Mach10 Sports. If you want to make fun of me or sign up for the Pavia fan club, because don't worry, we have that starting, it's at Mr. Cole Thompson. And to check out all of our great work, make sure that you visit us at secunfiltered.com. This postgame show is brought to you by our friends over at RHOBACK. Use the promo code SECU at RHOBACK.com for 20% off your very first purchase. Joggers, polos, hoodies, shorts. Guys, those in Nashville, you want to be dressed the night. You want to fill out First Bank Stadium. You want to make this your own, and you want to feel good when you go out to the bars on Broadway. Do so, RHOBACK.com, promo code SECU. Dave, Pavia Power is awesome. Like, I'm sorry, the dude is just so much fun to watch. His unrelentlessness of just tucking and running and not being afraid to lower his shoulder for those extra yards. The physical brand that he plays with is second to none. And you know what the crazy part is? I think that this win is so much better than last week's win for Vanderbilt. Yeah. For one main reason. They had every right to celebrate and treat this as a nonchalant matchup and get blown out by 20 points. They had every right to, with all the interviews, all the radio hits, all the national recognition, for them to come out slow, sluggish, look awful. And outside of a fumble at the very beginning of the game, they didn't do a damn bit of that. They controlled the tempo. They played their version of football. And now they're sitting at 4-2, going up against Ball State. They're going to be 5-2 as long as they don't find a way to shoot themselves in the foot like they did against Georgia
Probably
State.
hosting game day against Texas.
Dave, we are talking about, and trust me, I get it. I know, hindsight's 2020. We are a made field goal and triple overtime and a defensive stop away from Vanderbilt being undefeated and 3-0 in conference play with a win against a top 10 Mizzou squad and a win against number 1 Alabama. This is Vanderbilt. This is why they're awesome this year, dude.
Yeah. No, Clark Lee should be SEC Coach of the Week this week. I mean, I know it'll probably go to, who's probably going to, Brian Kelly will probably, Brian Kelly will end up probably getting it. But I'm with you, Clark. The more impressive to get his team rallying. They never trailed in this game. If I remember right? Yeah, they never trailed in this game.
Never trailed this game.
No, I mean, they kind of controlled it again. I mean, time of possession, 34-35 to 25-25 for Kentucky. Just one turnover. Honestly, I thought it was kind of a good scheme by Kentucky. I'll give them a break. He dropped the defensive lineman back into coverage there, Stoops, and Brad White did. Also, I'll give him credit. That was the one pick from Diego. But, I mean, you're +1 in the turnover margin if you're Vandy. You only commit 5 penalties to Kentucky's 12. Yeah, I mean, you got outgained a little bit, but still, man, just Vanderbilt, just a disciplined team that does not beat themselves. And everybody's starting to learn. Alabama learned it last week. Kentucky learned it this week. I mean, I saw Mark Stoops was like almost borderline emotional in the post-game conference from like just cursing up a storm like a sailor. And I think he was like, dude, I can't preach it to my guys. Again, I think they probably had their attention. I'm not saying Kentucky definitely didn't overlook Vanderbilt this week. But it's like you have to understand when you play this offense, it's you can't go outside of your gap or lane. You literally have to do your job because the guy behind you, the first level, if you're a defensive lineman, if you're Deion Walker, Jamon Dumas-Johnson and De'Aaron Jackson are banking on you to do your job. To sit in your normal game, if you don't do your assignment, you're killing the guy behind you who's coming over to supposed to be making the play. And it gets this spread triple option that Diego Pavia, Tim Beck, and them run now. I mean, Pavia his hand talent and ability to just the carriage of the football in this offense is unbelievable. It's like a very good point guard in basketball. Dude, if you aren't in your gaps, dude, they're gonna control the clock and you're gonna have very limited possessions. And it's gonna put a lot of pressure on your offense to go score on a regular basis. But even tonight, I would say this too, Cole. We don't talk about it. We talk about Diego Pavia all the time, which to be fair, that's right. But how about Vanderbilt's defense?
Defense.
Yeah.
Dude.
Last week, I kind of gave it credit because they didn't play a lot. I mean, they really weren't on the field much except for like 50 snaps against Alabama. But this one, I'm like, dude, obviously time of possession for Vanderbilt plays a big part into this, and it helps. But they just play good football off another. Hey, offense, we're keeping the football, or the offense, hey, we're going to keep the football for a while. And the defense gets necessary stops.
I think the other part that was really important was the third down conversion rate. Once again, they found a way to win 8 of 13 on third down, 34-35 of time of possession, fewer penalties, fewer passing yards, but still better in yards per attempt. Both had 1 turnover in this game. The big difference, I think, was that time of possession, because the second that you realize that we're just going to play keep away, we're going to make the clock be milking against a quarterback that right now has not been able to find his groove through the air. We may give up an explosive player or two, but we're okay with that. You know what's so funny, Dave, is I did more research, and I feel like I had to, because I have been hyping up Diego Pavia all offseason. I've been talking about how this kid was not the worst quarterback in the SEC, how he never was going to be the worst quarterback in the conference. Did you know that there was a moment this offseason where Vanderbilt's entire program could have gone south because if he almost transferred to Nevada? He was looking in the offseason about potentially leaving the program because if he wanted to make sure that he had a guaranteed start, they bring in Nate Johnson. And I'm not saying anything negative about Nate Johnson. Nate Johnson came on in when Diego got hurt. But still, this story does not happen in 2024 without Diego Pavia and the way that he has just been able to deliver. And the fact that there was still that question mark, thank God that he stuck around. And thank God also, Clark Lee finally said, if I'm going down with the ship at a place that I love, I'm going to do it my way. He's calling plays on defense. He's back in his element like he was when he got hired out of Notre Dame. And you're seeing this newfound team be able to constantly put themselves in winnable situations. I thought the way the defense played tonight, forcing a lot of second and longs, forcing Brock Vandagriff to either have to tuck and run or trust his arm, make them win through the air, was critical. It truly was. And the fact that also they were able to keep pace on offense with Demesimo Karangbe on the ground, that to me was another just major selling point to where they're a mature team. They're a fundamentally sound team. They know what their identity is. They know what is the best way to win games. And they're basically telling you at the start, hey, first quarter, this is what we are as a team. You can try and stop us, but we're not changing up our MO. We're going to do this. We're going to do it really well. And we're going to give you every opportunity to make us have to change. And we're still going to just do it our way. And they have so far.
Yeah. I mean, another takeaway I took from the offensive performance from Vanderbilt was how they just neutralized Deion Walker. And again, I have to go back to watch the film to see if he's playing with consistent motor all the time. But I thought he would be the difference from the Alabama game to this game. Because again, it's that kind of offense. If you have a big wrecker on the inside, it changes things. But you didn't hear Deion Walker's name a lot tonight. And that's a credit to Tim Beck and them. Again, each week they keep coming out, at least the last 2 weeks, coming out impressive with a very good offensive game plan. Give them credit. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. The more mature victory than it was last week. Like you said, it'd been easy just to kind of roll into Lexington. I mean, the line was 14.5. I picked Kentucky to straight up win. Not with the spread. I thought that was way too many points, but I thought Kentucky would win the football game. But, man, yeah, a lot of things going, setting up Vanderbilt's way right now, man. I mean, they're playing good football, definitely on track to get to 6 wins.
By the way, I need to correct myself. It was not a fumble. It was an interception. That was the big mistake in the game. That was my mistake on that one. 5 drives of over 4.5 minutes. I mean, if that's sustainable, that will be sustainable throughout the rest.
Third down and manageable. I mean, anything's Bobby. You got defenses on their heels in today's time with as much space as these offenses play in. I mean, really not Vanderbilt specifically, but it's a run pass. I mean, you're 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. I mean, people are like, my guess is as good as yours, what they're going to do. And Diego Pavia is like the mid-range jumper king, dude. Like, It's like they'll play in their shots, but dude, just his off the play action, get out there, just flip it out to the tight end out in the flat, dude. I mean,
Towers or whoever it may be on that
whatever they
play.
have it tight end. It's just easy throws. They get it. He's the perfect guy to run that system.
It is everything that you want. And by the way, I think that it's really important because you heard in the press conference, if you weren't watching, he brings up Jerry Kill a lot and what Jerry Kill did to open up a college football career when he was at New Mexico State. The fact that Kill decided to go join the staff at Vanderbilt after last season, the fact that he made sure that there was a place for him and multiple players, the comfortability of understanding Tim Beck's offense, but also a lot of these players have a great understanding of that offense. Now they have the confidence. And so when you compare confidence and composure and you put it together with the cohesion that is the play calling, that is what makes you a dangerous team. And I think that that's something that is really going to be sustainable for them to get to 7 wins. At this point, Vanderbilt to me has shown enough to where I'm not doubting them to make a bowl game. My question is, can they get to a prominent one? Can they get to 8-4? Can they get to 9-3? I don't think 10-2 is possible. I personally don't. But 9-3, I don't want to say is off the radar. Again, you're finding ways to play your brand of football and just tell other opponents, hey, slow us down. And they haven't yet. And until you start to see someone to really do so on a consistent basis, this is what we can expect moving forward. And that's the beauty of it. Dave, they had no receiver go for over 50 yards tonight. Richie Hoskins had 3 catches for 44 yards. A.J. Newberry, 2 catches for 26 yards. Junior Sherrill, 2 catches for 23 yards. But they knew how to put themselves in great manageable position to where wherever they want to call a play, pitch, option, tuck and run number 2, go for being the number one threat. It all worked. It did.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a major testament to what the confidence of this team can only continue to be moving forward.
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt, their style of play travels no matter, and you feel like it's a kind of style that can be consistent on a week-to-week compared to a lot of other teams. Now, the ceiling going to be there? No.
No. By the way, what do you think is
the floor's up there consistently? We're like, hey, yeah, like as much inconsistencies as there are in college football with coaching continuity, transfer portal, whatever you want to call it. Vanderbilt's style, because they're so good at it offensively, and their offense is kind of their defense too, that it's like, dude, if you don't go win on 1st and 2nd down and get them in negative situation, like they're just going to control the game. And that's what it's going to, that time of possession is going to be the same like it was against Alabama last week and Kentucky this week. It just, the floor for them is raised for me so much. Again, the ceiling is what it is, but I think that floor is they're going to be the consistent beam of light in the middle of the night where a lot of these teams they can play each week are kind of all over the place. And at some point, maybe it's Texas. Maybe they run into a buzzsaw and gets up on them quickly, 17-21-0, and gets Vanderbilt out of their game. And yeah, that's where they would be in trouble. But there's something to be said for consistency. And I think that offense, because again, it's kind of a low risk offense. It doesn't really require a lot of like turnovers or penalties. Like Diego Pavia runs it perfectly. They just again, the thing that sticks out, especially after tonight, is just it seems like a very mature team led by a mature coach, older guy. You mentioned Jerry Kill, Tim Beck that had been there, been in big games before too. Just kind of seems like the perfect storm this year. And again, I love the floor. I love the offense. It's a low risk, high reward kind of offense that I think you don't see a lot of inconsistencies with. And I think there's something to be said for that week to week.
Dave, I'd be remiss if we at least didn't bring up a little bit about Kentucky. Kentucky's game plan, they just got so far behind that I didn't think that they were able to capitalize. But still, I didn't think it was as bad as some are going to make it out to be. Don't get me wrong. It
was always like in a 10.7 to 10-point game. Yeah.
It wasn't pretty to say the least, but they were able to run for 5.3 yards on the ground. They were able to see both Brock Vandagriff and Demesumo Karangbe average over 4 yards per play. Both of them picked up multiple first downs. Both of them put themselves in manageable situations. Dane Key steps on up big, has a 83-yard, 22-yard touchdown reception. Like, there was enough to like, but the problem is that this is where I kind of feel where we are with Kentucky, where it's 2 steps forward, 2 major steps back on getting that consistent level of being a legit threat in the college football playoff world as a legit contender in the SEC.
Oh, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we literally said it after the Ole Miss game, right? Dude, I don't really worry, or against Georgia, I don't really worry about Kentucky in those big games because they kind of turn.
Yeah.
I remember we said it, go after the reaction of Ole Miss, like, man, they got a manageable schedule down the stretch, these next 3 against Vandy, Florida, and Auburn. Maybe they win all three, but we both talked about it. We were like, this is where Kentucky stubs their toe. And again, that's taking away credit from Vanderbilt. This isn't your grandpa's Vanderbilt team. This is a good football team. But I think Kentucky underestimated, dude, this is to defend them, you got to say, screw my stats tonight. I have to do my job so the guy behind me makes the plays. Like this, we don't play offenses like this. And I think teams see that during the weeks, like, oh yeah, coach, I hear you, coach. But when you get out there on game day and you got your girl in the stands, mom and dad in the stands, you want to make plays, I think it's a little bit of a distraction. It's like if you want to gap sound, dude, I think you're in trouble. And that's where Mark Stoops, I think, was getting a little frustrated in his post-game press conference.
And then the other thing is that you look at those two drives. There was the mishandling of the snap on the field goal attempt. So then they have to throw it. Yeah, Ricky Wright gets the interception. They were able to go march on down. They get a touchdown on the ensuing drive. Afterwards, they try to connect. I think it was Barian Brown gets a catch, but then Jameel Cox gets called for a holding. There's another penalty, and they go from 2nd and manageable to 2nd and 32. So it's like they put them out of the sticks to where it was 4th and 21 on the final play to be able to go ahead and watch Brock Vandagriff have to throw it deep. And it's not his game. It's not his MO. That's not how it works. So again, you're watching as it was an overall solid game plan, but penalties, miscommunications, a couple of bad throws. I mean, a couple of bad play designs ultimately allowed Vanderbilt to control the game, keep their composure, and walk out of Lexington now sitting at 4-2. And now you're Kentucky, and you're out of the college football playoff hunt because the 3-loss team like Kentucky is not going. And I don't know what you're going to see because I think momentum, again, as beautiful as it is to bring to your squad, it also can be a killer.
No, you're 100% right. Yeah. Where does Kentucky go from here, you think, Cole? I mean, you got at Florida. We talked about it in the Florida-Tennessee game. It's a weird game.
For both of them.
You could see any team. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you could see either team win that, and they get Auburn at home. I feel like Kentucky needs kind of both of those. At the very least, you need one. But
you need one. I think that you can get both. It won't shock me if you get both because again, this conference is so freaking weird this year, dude. Like Vanderbilt is a couple plays away from being undefeated and currently in the college football playoff hunt. Before we get on out of here, it is important to bring this up. Vanderbilt last week beat the number 1 team in the country and did not get ranked inside the AP Top 25. Which, again, the AP Top 25 is a joke. We all can agree there are so many faults with it. They make no sense at times. The college football playoff rankings in today's day and age is really what you're trying to go ahead and scout for. But now that you see the composure, the collection, the consistency of this squad, and the unrelentless effort to always play up to a certain brand, do you think they're going to get in this week?
They should. I mean, they're better than SMU. Like, I mean, SMU sitting there at 25. I'd venture to say they're probably a little better than Illinois, and I hate saying that because I've liked this Brett Bielema, Luke Altmaier Illinois team. I mean, Pitt. I mean, I'm just looking at the teams in the top 20. I mean, they should. I mean, Missouri comes in at 21. They easily could have beat Missouri. I mean, I haven't watched a ton of Indiana. I know they're undefeated, but that'd be an interesting.
They would. I think Indiana would keep this thing close to them. Indiana's been playing out of its freaking mind underneath Sig. And the only reason I know this is because my dad went to Indiana, so I've been watching a lot of IU football, and they would give them the run for the money. Clark Lee and Kirk Sig right now are probably the two coaches that I would give my vote to at this moment for Coach of the Year in college football.
I mean, shoot, Oklahoma's 18. Vanderbilt would beat Oklahoma right now.
Vanderbilt would beat Oklahoma, I think, by at least 10 points.
Clark Lee. Yeah, and then Tim Beck probably up there with the Broyles Award winner.
I think he has to be. I truly think that's without a doubt. Floor for Vanderbilt, 7-5 or 6-6. What feels more like floor? Their brand of football, their schedule, they're going to be 5-2 next week if they don't shoot themselves in the foot against Ball State.
Yeah.
So I think that now we're talking about, can they get to 2 more wins or 1 more win beyond that?
Yeah, I'd probably go floor. I'm feeling optimistic tonight. 6 for sure. Yeah, I'd say floor 6 is what I would say because I'm with you. They're going to get 5 with Ball State. I mean, Ball State's not even a good MAC team. And then I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt in the last 5. They get 1. I mean, I don't think they're going to beat Texas. But any game after that, I mean, at Auburn, South Carolina at home, at LSU, and I mean, Tennessee struggles on offense at times. I mean, it wouldn't be shocking if they're in that in the fourth quarter. Any game after that, I think Vandy on a given day could win.
Dave.
Any game outside of Texas. I mean, if I'm playing against Vanderbilt, my game plan is going to be I'm taking the ball first if I win the toss.
Yeah.
We're going to go down and score, and we're going to go try to get up on you two scores. You're going to be playing. You're going to get outside of playing your game and trying to possess the ball. I think that's got to be the game plan, right? I mean, you got to get.
I think that's the game plan on. That's the game plan on top of taking 9 minutes off the clock, 8.5 minutes off the clock, and putting that offense that is about to take the field under pressure mode to try and strike. That is my game plan if I'm Vanderbilt moving forward. And
Obviously, if I was playing against Vanderbilt, is what I was saying. My game plan would be. Like, if I'm Texas, I'm coming out there slinging it. I'm trying to get up on you.
I'm trying to get. Oh, I get what you're saying. What I'm saying is, if I'm Vanderbilt, I'm just trying to run down that clock. I am trying to.
No, against Vanderbilt, it's usually an advantage to get the ball in the second half. But I feel like if I'm playing Vanderbilt, I may be like, give me the ball first. I want to make sure I get this opening.
Let me set the tone of this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. Set the 100%.
I think that, again, this is going to be a really interesting year. Everything is on the table moving forward. The college football playoff is going to be nuts. I mean, honestly, especially after the games we've seen today, we don't even know who's going to go. I don't know if Vanderbilt will. What I will say is they will be one of the toughest outs for everybody that still exists in the sport. And I think that there is something to be said about Diego Pavia and his just unrelentlessness. Something about having to earn it more than be given it makes you that much more dangerous. And the fact that this is a kid that had to start his career as a walk-on at a junior college to finally get to this level, yeah, sorry. I mean, that's a guy that's going to want it in every single matchup just to prove everyone wrong. And by the way, Dave, I'm going to say that they will get to 6 wins. And the reason why I think that is because of after now knowing that Hugh Freeze has had 2 opportunities to recruit this kid after he beat him twice. Once when he was at New Mexico State against Liberty, and another time when he was at New Mexico State against Auburn. He's going to do it a third time. He is going to complete the sweep against Hugh Freeze in his career. And so that's 6 wins. And I think that they're going to get a 7th. I think that they will finish 7-5 at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll say I'd be a little surprised if they didn't get one of Auburn or South Carolina.
I'm not going to be shy to that. South Carolina's going to be really interesting. I have no doubt in my mind they're going to beat South. They're going to beat the
Cole's calling it, man. He's going to be 3-0 against the state of Alabama. He's going to be running for the governor.
No, Dave. There is a state law in the city. I mean, in the state of Alabama, where, and you should know this. If you beat Alabama and Auburn in the same year, you get to take over for KI.
Cole, 3 times in a calendar year?
Yeah, you get to take over for Kay Ivey. So best of luck to her and her future endeavor.
All right, Kay Ivey.
But Diego Pavia is now the governor of the state of Alabama. He is never going to have to buy a drink in the state. He'll never have to buy a drink.
He may even move the capital out of Montgomery.
I think he's going to move it to Pavia land, wherever he decides to make that. Maybe it's Mobile. Maybe it's Foley. Maybe someone's going to name it Pavia land after him because if he owns the state. Like that's my prediction. Thank you again for joining us tonight. We had a fun, jam-packed day in college football. Dave, this sport is freaking awesome. This is why we love what we do. And we get to call this a lifestyle, a career. We get to have fun with the audience. We get to have fun with everybody that joins in. And we're going to be back here in 9 hours to be doing once again Sunday Fun Day. So
less than 45.
8 hours and 45 minutes countdown to what is going to be probably a very long, fun, and wild Sunday Fun Day. But rate, review, subscribe. Make sure that you're following us on all the social channels: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow Dave at Mach 10 Sports, me at Mr. Cole Thompson. Download the podcast version of the show. And real quickly, make sure that you hit that ring notification as well. That way you're not missing a single episode of SEC Unfiltered, post-game shows, live reactions, Day Talk Ball, Sunday Fun Day, the Monday Morning Power Hour, and countless other material that we got planned for you, because college football is not sleeping. Apparently neither are we. And this is the channel where you're going to get all the action that you could possibly get. For Dave Shumate, I'm Cole Thompson. The Dorks deliver once again. Pavia Power is alive and well. Have a good night.